Today we're using these three to clarify 3 cocktails. We'll explore a clarification technique that has become popular on Instagram and test a new carbonation system that might become my new favorite way to carbonate drinks.
It's cocktail time!
Usually, you'd clarify cocktails with milk, agar-agar, or specialty enzymes, but today's technique is a little different. We're using fruits and vegetables. In fact, I first used this technique almost 6 years ago, with watermelon and a cocktail named the Smoky Worm.
And would you look at that, it's cocktail time.
Recently, I started seeing reels like this all over Instagram, and it inspired me to test this technique again. So today, we're clarifying 3 cocktails with watermelon, carrot, and tomato, and even bringing carbonation into the mix by turning one of them into a highball. Let's start with the one that inspired it all, the Smoky Worm. I actually created a newer version of this 4 years ago with añejo tequila and chile liqueur, but with this one we're going back to Irish whiskey. The process couldn't be much simpler. The whole cocktail will be blended and strained, and we're making a batch, because we want to share this or have more than just one. We need watermelon chunks, Irish whiskey, mezcal, fresh lemon juice, sugar, and saline solution. Watermelon will provide enough dilution, plenty of flavor, and some sweetness. Just make sure it all fits in the blender. After it's all blended, leave it in the fridge overnight. And the next day, strain it through a coffee filter. Fruits and vegetables contain both soluble pectin and insoluble cellulose. When the cocktail and watermelon get blended together, these compounds get distributed throughout the cocktail and help capture suspended particles during filtration. With the right amount of pectin, the result is a cocktail that becomes surprisingly clear, without milk, agar, or any specialty clarifying agents. Once clarified, I'm throwing this cocktail, just like I did for the original Smoky Worm. Ice into the smaller shaker tin with a hot on strainer. Cocktail into the big one. Then start pouring the liquid from one shaker to the other, increasing the distance with each throw. This is gentler than shaking, but with more aeration than stirring. Strain over a clear ice block, and add a few drops of soy sauce for a touch of umami.
Okay, let's try a cocktail that I made 6 years ago. First time.
It brings up memories. It's savory and fruity at the same time, which is quite unique, with some watermelon flavor. Of course, it's summerish, but then again, it can be a nice evening sipper. I love it. It's a perfect balance of umami, sweet, acidity, and fruitiness. I think this is one of the best cocktails I've ever created.
You now made it with Irish whiskey and tequila. Why did the third version, let's say, go back to Irish whiskey?
Because it's my original one. So there are some memories as well with it. But I think in general, watermelon, Irish whiskey and mezcal work better together in a cocktail, even though on a paper it would be totally different. But somehow it's a good match. So that's why I decided to go with this one. Like I said, still one of my favorite cocktails I've ever created. So I was really excited when I saw reels from Likeable Cocktails and Kate Likes Cocktails on Instagram. And it really made me want to try clarifying cocktails with both carrots and tomatoes. It also gave me the perfect excuse to try a new carbonation system I've been playing around with recently. But first, let's make the cocktail. The inspiration for this cocktail came from Caitlin Stewart from Likeable Cocktails, and she credits Mary Ellison Wright from Yacht Club Bar for showing her this technique. Start by juicing the carrots. I love the juicer for this, but you could also blend it with a small amount of water and strain it. Or just buy 100% carrot juice and it should work too. For the cocktail itself, I'm using Jameson Triple Triple Irish Whiskey, named for its unique triple cask maturation. Combine that with orange liqueur, lemon juice, and a few drops of saline solution. Once that's mixed, pour in the carrot juice, give it a stir, and you'll quickly start to see kernels form. Leave it to sit overnight. The solids will clump together and separate from the liquid, and once filtered, we're left with a clear carrot cocktail. Now I could serve this as it is, but I think carrots and carbonation are a fantastic combination, which brings me to the second thing I've been excited about lately. This is the Prash carbonation system, which I first came across in Brazil. I wanted to know all that it can do, so I went through a quick presentation with its founder. The great thing is, that you don't need to waste disposable CO2 cartridges. You can use it with CO2 tanks for home or bar use. What immediately caught my attention is that you can add ice right in the bottle, thanks to the wider mouth. Plus, you can carbonate an entire cocktail. That means we can chill, dilute and carbonate the cocktail all at the same time. I'll carbonate it a few times, giving it a shake after each round to help the CO2 dissolve into the liquid. The pressure will even make sure the ice melts faster and chills the cocktail. By the time we're done, the cocktail is already cold and ready to be served. Such a smart solution. I'll leave a link in the description if you want to learn more about Presh. Pour the clarified carrot highball into a glass over clear ice. For garnish, you could go with some carrot greens, but I think mint works just fine too. And a bonus tip, you can pressurize the bottle from above, which will make sure we don't lose carbonation in the cocktail for future serves. Let's try clarified carrot highball. First of all, I'm a big fan of highballs, just because of the nice carbonation, the lightness of the overall drink, and this one especially because it has a little bit of sweetness, just a little bit of acidity as well. Sweetness coming from the orange liqueur and the carrot juice. And also whiskey is there. Everything tied together with these lovely bubbles, high carbonation, and it's a perfect summer drink. Just lovely.
So will this be a year of carbonated cocktails now with the new carbonation system?
Yeah, for sure. I'm gonna be testing it a bit more. Probably not only for carbonating, but also for some interesting other ideas that I have that I can do with the system. But in general, yeah, for sure, a lot of carbonated cocktails. We started with watermelon, tested carrots, and brought in carbonation. Let's finish it up with tomatoes. I've already shown that tomato juice clarifies itself with freeze clarification. But by already starting with frozen tomatoes, their cellular structure already breaks down, which means clarification of the cocktail starts much faster than if using fresh tomatoes. And for cocktail, I wanted to test a crossover between a martini and a gimlet. Start with the frozen tomatoes, right in the blender. I'm making a batch for about 4 cocktails here. For a martini base, I'm going with London dry gin and dry vermouth. Next I'm adding sugar and lime components, lime peel plus citric and malic acids. Together with the tomatoes, this creates the bright, cordial-like character you'd expect from a gimlet. Lastly, add a few drops of saline solution to make all the flavors pop. Blend this a bit longer than you usually would, because of the frozen tomatoes. Once everything is blended together, it looks absolutely nothing like a martini. But after just a few minutes, the solids are already beginning to separate from the liquid. And just like with the watermelon and carrots, the cocktail slowly transforms into something clear, with all of the solids trapped on the filter above. Even though this is a clarified cocktail, I'll be shaking it. Pour straight into a shaker, add ice and shake hard. The extra aeration really rounds out the flavors and makes the drink even more expressive. Double strain into a chill coupe glass and garnish with a tomato star. Beautiful. And yes, this is edible too. Let's try another slightly savory cocktail. Cheers. I'm on a hot streak today. All 3 of them are really, really good. So, first of all, aroma of tomato. Tomato is one of my favorite fruits, vegetables. So, love the smell of this garnish, this tomato star on top. But in general, the cocktail is still a little bit on the side of a gimlet and a martini. It's a nice mashup, gimletini. It's slightly savory, slightly acidic and sweet, not too much, so we don't go too far away from being a martini.
So with tomatoes and carrots, today fundamentally it's more like a cooking channel. Do you enjoy cooking as much as you like making cocktails?
Absolutely. I love cooking, although whenever I cook, I do not measure it by grams or like milliliters, I just do it by my heart. But whenever I'm making cocktails, I have to be precise. 3 completely different ingredients, 1 clarification technique, and not a drop of milk inside. What I love most about this method is how simple it is. Blend the ingredients, give them some time, and let the filtration do the rest. Then just pour it, throw it, or even carbonate it, and enjoy. If you discover another fruit or vegetable that works well with this technique, let me know in the comments. Cheers, friends of cocktails. See you next time.